Oh, yeah. We gotta do this.
Yep, got a little audio.
Oh, it's fine. I read everything, so. Yeah.
Oh, you did the update.
This should be doing.
Eventually they do them on their
Oh,
own.
this one does it whenever it wants to. Just out of the blue, it'll rebooting. Give it a few minutes. I want to just throw that.
You never know if it's coming back.
That little gray one I had, first one I got, and I still got it. I just use it for looking up farms and snowmobiles and shit. And yeah, the other day I going through all some, the whole thing just locked up. I'm like, turn it off, wouldn't turn off, wouldn't do anything. I'm like, maybe she's done. Only about how old?
It's old, Leroy.
10, 12 years.
Yeah, it's old.
So I just closed it up and I laid it down. I plugged it in and I charged it up. Opened her up yesterday and working like just wanted to break, I think.
It's giving you a warning.
All right, 6 o'clock. We'll get started with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you everybody for joining us for the November 21st, 2022 Credit River City Council meeting. We will begin with approving or amending the agenda for tonight. Is there any council members that have anything to add or change on the agenda tonight?
No.
If none, I would take a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Al.
I'll second.
Thank you, Leroy. Motion by Al Novak and second by Leroy Schomer to approve tonight's agenda as written. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Consent agenda. Those items on the council agenda which are considered routine or non-controversial are included as part of the consent agenda. Unless a council member specifically requests that an item on the consent agenda be removed and considered separately, items on the consent agenda are considered under one motion, a second, and a vote. Any item removed from the consent agenda shall be placed at the end of general business. Tonight on consent agenda, we have the Planning Commission appointment process, Resolution 2022-40, a resolution certifying the delinquent community sewer treatment services fees and related interest. 3-year engagement with our Credit River auditor, Abdo, and the minutes of the November 17th special Credit River City Council meeting for canvassing the municipal election, and approving the assessment on 6998 Longview or PID 0493000230. Is there anything on the consent agenda tonight that anybody would like to poll and consider separately?
No.
I would take a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Al.
Second.
I'll take Brent, because he talked louder than Andrew. I have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda as written. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Open forum. The public forum is intended to afford the public an opportunity to address concerns to the city council. The public forum will be no longer than 30 minutes in length, and each presenter will have no more than 5 minutes to speak. Topics of discussion are restricted to local governmental topics rather than private or political agendas. The council may discuss but will not take formal action on any public forum presentations. Would anybody like to speak in open forum tonight?
Yes, I would.
Mr. Brunello?
David Brunello, I reside at.
If you would please, Dominique, would you bring that microphone over and turn it on, please? Sorry.
Good evening. My name is Dave Brunello. I reside at 20860 Lynn Drive. I've been a resident of the community for over 30 years. Not quite as much as others here. But I wanted to congratulate the newly elected officials and those that reside and represent us. And want you to remember the principles and the platforms that you ran on and the interviews that you conducted with the local paper. Myself and my family, we moved here about 30 years ago. And we wanted to live in a small community, slow growth. We wanted a mix of agriculture, hobby farms, and a residential mix. Approximately 10 years ago, the city was confronted with possibilities of annexation from Prior Lake and Savage. We spent about approximately $27,000. We hired a consultant, and the recommendation was you should become a city. So now, 10 years later, we're considering high density developments, 188 homes on half-acre lots, and all the implications that it's going to bring. One of the questions I have is why the significant change that our representatives made in those few years, and what does the future hold for this community? A few years ago, I brought, and I don't expect answers. This is my sounding board, and I just want you people as newly elected officials to take into account some of the things I'm saying. 2 years ago, the township at the time was considering police protection. And I asked our council members, I said, so why are we doing this? Are we doing this on fact-based decisions? Or are we doing this? I mean, was there a rise in crime? And the response I got was, we felt it was time. So it was not a fact-based decision. It was a feeling or an opinion. Soon thereafter, we entered into a contract with Scott County. I read the contract and there's a disparity. I believe it was about $16,000. Not a lot of money for a city or a township, but for me and many other people, I'd like to have $16,000. The disparity was brought to the attention of township supervisors, and I never received an answer. I didn't expect one. I just wanted to look into. So the lawyers, the council, and the lawyer missed the cost disparity. Which brings up another point is we've had a lawyer for 20, 25 years, same lawyer. What else has he missed in other contracts? He's supposed to represent the city council and the city. And if he's missing significant issues, then maybe we should consider competing that position for other lawyers. As far as the police protection, I don't understand why we needed one when one was already provided by the county. And then a year later, we have two. I think what we need transparency in those two positions. I think it would be highly amenable to document the findings, the police arrests, the police calls, etc., in our on their website or in the minutes. As we move forward, I would hope that you, the people that represent us, make fact-based decisions, not based on opinions or feelings, that there's more transparency in what's occurring in the city. And remember, as elected officials, that you represent citizens of the community, represent those principles and platforms that you ran on, and not the best interest of developers or special interest groups. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Anybody else for open forum tonight?
Thank you.
Okay. Got nobody else, then we'll close open forum and move on to general business. In general business, number one, we've got the Krieger development, Krieger excavating. Cindy, if you would introduce the subject, please.
Thank you. Tonight you have actually 3 items related to Krieger Excavating. The first, you'll have to take these in order because depending on what you decide on each of them, it will impact how you can decide on the rest of them. So the first item that they have is a variance related to the side yard setback. They're proposing to construct an addition to their existing building, and in doing that addition, they would be 80 feet from the side yard setback instead of the required amount that they're supposed to be. 80 feet is still a fairly significant amount of space there. They have room for landscaping and buffering in between, and the closest residence is, there's one to the south, so not directly affected by that setback variance, and then one more to the northeast. The second item would be an interim use permit for outside storage. And they currently have outside storage at their business. The existing interim use permit that they have for a home extended business does not permit outside storage. But there is some there today. And they are asking for this interim use permit to allow them to have that. It would be required to be set back from 180th Street, the minimum front yard setback amount. So some would have to be moved from where it is today. But basically, they've shown on their plans an area where they would like for that outside storage to be. The building that they're adding on to will help to screen it on the east side. There would be some landscaping on the south side to provide some amount of buffer there, along with having that front yard setback. Go back up a couple more and you'll be in the exhibits. Down one. So you can see there's a hatched area for outside storage shown immediately west of the proposed building. And unfortunately, the way that this ended up in the packet, south is to the, well, that'll work. So east is now to the top of the page. And then they have a berm on the western side of the property that they would be expanding with their grading activities that they're doing that will provide some buffer in that location as well. And then to the north, it's not, because of the size of the property, they don't really need to put any additional buffering in there against the outside storage. So that would be item number 2 to consider. And then the third one would be a conditional use permit for a contractor yard. And this really could only be approved as it's written anyways, if you approve both the variance and the interim use permit for outside storage. Happy to answer any questions that you have. And I know Mr. Krieger is in the audience tonight as well to provide any feedback or questions that you have too.
And Cindy, this was recommended for approval by the Planning Commission.
Yes, it was.
Any other council members have any other, Mr. Councilmember Lawrence?
Yeah, I've got one for Cindy. So looking at all 3 of them and then in your description of request, it states that that the comp plan amendment takes 90 days. The applicant wishes to construct the building sooner. I understand that, so that he has applied for the text amendment to the zoning ordinance. Is there a chance that the comp plan amendment would not go through? And if that is the case, then what happens with the work that's already done?
So they actually had withdrawn the text amendment previously because that was unlikely to be approved based on discussions that were occurring at the Planning Commission a couple months ago. So we are just waiting on the comp plan amendment from the Met Council. It's not, you had previously approved that yourselves at an earlier meeting. It's not likely that they would not approve it. So I don't know that we need to look at those other options.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions, council members?
No.
Okay. Well, if you guys are comfortable with that, then we'll do these resolutions in order. We can start with a motion to approve the resolution 2022-35 for the variance, if you guys are comfortable.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make that motion for 35.
Thank you, Al. Thank you, Andrew. Motion by Councilmember Novak, second by Councilmember Stevens to approve resolution 2022-35, a variance related to side yard setback. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Hearing none. Next up, we would have resolution 2022-36 for the interim use permit for outside storage.
I'll make a motion. to
Thank
approve.
you, Al. Thank you, Andrew. So we have a motion by Al, a second by Andrew for the approval of resolution 2022-36 interim use permit for outside storage. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. The third one would be resolution 2022-37 conditional use permit for the contractor's yard.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Leroy.
I'll second.
Thank you, Brent. Get quick on that one to be. Motion is second to approve resolution 2022-37 conditional use permit for a contractor's yard. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Thank you, Cindy. We appreciate the help with that one. Next up, we have approval of the claims listings for tonight and find that page. Way at the bottom.
You got it, Chris?
It's,
It's 46,413
Yep.
and 90 cents.
So in the packet tonight, you have the approval of claim listing summary. Is there any of those that anybody has any questions on? Otherwise, I would take a motion to approve the listing of claims for tonight.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Al.
I'll second.
Thank you, Leroy. We have a motion and a second to approve the listing of claims for tonight in the amount of $46,413.90. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. Does anybody have any council member updates or reports tonight?
Nope.
No?
Nope.
Okay. Well, at this time then, we will take a motion to continue the meeting for approval of signing the claims, and then we'll go into work session. We did. So we'll sign the claims.
Yeah.
Sign the claims and go into work session.
Gotcha.
Do you want to make a motion to continue the meeting?
I will make a motion to continue the meeting.
Thank you, Andrew.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Leroy. Motion to continue the meeting for signing the claims, and we'll go into work session. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.